Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here and welcome back to another video on the channel. And today guys, we're going to be continuing my 3-game match reviews in today's video. And today we're going to be reviewing the first 3 games of round number 4 in the 2022 AFL season. So these were actually possibly more interesting than what I thought they were going to be. And today, on the Saturday, we almost saw upset of the year happen, so make sure to stay tuned to find out which game that is, although if you know your fixturing, you will know which game that was in. Now, here we go. So today, it's another 3-game match review. Today, we're going to be reviewing Port Adelaide vs Melbourne, Geelong vs Brisbane, and Sydney vs North Melbourne. So let's go ahead and hop right into things. So the first game of the round could probably not be any more boring than what this game was. Now, sorry to any Power or Demons supporters out, especially you Demons fans, but I must admit this game was quite boring. I watched it 3/4 time. I was done. I think I was even done after half time. That's how boring it was. I didn't watch any more after that. It was just a pretty boring game, especially for me. And seeing that the Power were inaccurate, you knew it was going to continue. And the Demons, they were just too good in the end. The Power, they kept goalless until the first half. They actually kicked their first goal late in the third, right in that point there with about 4 minutes to go. So it was a pretty bad performance by the Power. They finished with 4 goals, 12 on the night, compared to Demons 10-8. So pretty much that performance was horrible. Everything that went wrong, everything that could have possibly gone wrong went wrong for the Power as well. This is one of the worst performances we've seen in a long time from a team like the Power. Now, probably losing to Hawthorn and to Adelaide were probably worse, but this was a bad performance as well. And if you were looking at this game before the AFL season started, you're like, oh, wow, what a goodie, what a close game we have. And now that you see the result, it's kind of like, oh, geez, this was boring. This was pretty boring. And it was not really a great game of any sort either. There was unnecessary stuff as well in this game. Riley Bonner, 37 touches, 3 goals for Fritsch, 140 fantasy for Gawn, 10 tackles for Drew. Drew is actually establishing himself. You can see there, 140 fantasy for Gawn, 127 for Boat, 125 for Bonner, 109 for Jonas, 107 for Burton, 101 for Drew. And you can see disposals. Again, Power players still getting disposals of Bonner and Boat. But are they effective? Are they useful disposals, or are they just banging them into no one? But yeah, 3 goals for Fritsch, 2 for Harms and Motlop. But it was a pretty below average game for the Power. Tackles, 10 for Drew, and then 6 for Viney, Pickett and Jackson. If we have a look at the hit-outs, 33 for Gawn, 22 for Lysa, 8 for Jackson, 5 for Marshall. Port Adelaide was smashed in the hit-outs as well. But it just was not a great game for the Power. They actually had more disposals and more kicks. Plenty more kicks than the Demons, but it just goes to show that your kicks just may not be achieving the right thing. Power got barely any shots inside 450. The free kicks were favoured in the Demons, but only by 3, 21-24. So it wasn't like it was massive, but clearances were they were in Demons' favour, except centre clearances. But again, it just depends how far you're getting it and where to. But again, for the Power, it was just not a great game or anything like that. The Power, they never led, but yeah, it was just not a very good game, and the Demons get the job done convincingly to start the season 4-0. So these two teams add another chapter to their fiery rivalry. This one played on the Friday night down at Geelong at GMHBA. The Cats win this one by 10, 11-14, 80-11-4, 70. So the Cats were inaccurate and probably could have won this one by more. Now, I did watch most of this contest, and it was a pretty good contest, I'm going to say. This one was a good contest. The Cats, though, they were up for pretty much the entirety of the final term, but it was a very close final term of that one. Second quarter was probably it was a goal-for-goal quarter. First quarter was epic. It was really close, really tight. Second quarter was just goal-for-goal. You can see there. That's what I'm talking about, goal-for-goal. Third quarter, Cats got a little bit of a lead out. Lions dragged it back to lead. And then final quarter, the Cats get the job done after a really close finish. So the Lions, they were looking good, even though it may be Geelong and people may already rule them out. I still feel like the Lions played a pretty good game of footy in this game. I feel like they were up to the challenge. especially after a team that just beat North Melbourne by 108 points. They were ready to go. And the Cats, they were pretty well ready to go as well after making a comeback win over the Pies. 30 touches for Neil, 5 goals for Hawkins, 125 fantasy for Blitzarves, and 8 tackles for Blitzarves. But yeah, it was a pretty good game for the Cats and both the Lions and the Cats. They were both really aggressive as well. Really interesting to score. 125 fantasy for Blitzarves, 121 for Smith, 108 for Hawkins, 100 for Lions. Goals, 3 goals for McStay and Danaher, 2 goals for Cameron. So, and I mean, it's the Lions. They do have a really good forward line as well. They do have multiple avenues. So do the Cats. 29 suppose for Smith. No one else really got up there except Neil with the 30. Of course, tackles, 8 for Blitzar, 7 for Parfitt and O'Connor. He got the 6. So did Guthrie and Lyons. Now that we have a look at the hitouts. 4 got 23, 21 for Stanley, 20 for Blitzarves, 4 for Hawkins, 1 for McStay, 1 for Fullerton. So it was a Cats dominant ruck, as you can see. Now that we have a look at some team stats, here are some team stats. But yeah, free kicks were pretty even. Clearances were reasonably even as well, except centre, which was going in favour of the Cats, and stoppage, which was going in favour of the Lions. The rest were going in favour of the Cats, so hitouts and clearances. Now, margins on 50 as well is a pretty big one. Cats led for majority of the contest. But yeah, there we go. So, now we're going to go to the Saturday game and see the Lions. Not the Lions, we just saw the Lions. We're going to see the Swans up against the Kangaroos. Now, this is probably the best game in the round still. And I would tell you, if North Melbourne got up, it would have been upset of the year. North Melbourne was so good in this contest. In fact, they probably were better than Sydney, realistically. And Sydney got a massive scare by this team. This team just got smashed by 108 points. And they come and deliver this. This is remarkable. This is almost as good as a win in a way, I would feel, for North Melbourne supporters. This is almost as good as a win. And if we've got any North Melbourne supporters out there, you'll be like, yeah, I do feel like it is kind of, yeah, it is almost as good as a win. It would obviously be very annoying to actually lose a game, which they had right in their grasp. But I feel like they were really good in this contest. North Melbourne, they were here, they were ready to play. Even they put last week behind them. If they hadn't have put last week behind them, if it was still playing with them in their brains, they would have lost by 108 points again. But this game was superb. Now, North Melbourne, they were really good. They led at 3/4 time and at quarter time. But it was a really close contest, as you can see. North Melbourne, Sydney went head-to-head first quarter. It was a really exciting contest, back and forth. Second quarter was owned by the Roos for the Swans to take a 3-point lead into the main break. Third quarter was also owned by the Roos to take a little lead into 3/4 time. And the final term was just owned by the Swans. The Roos didn't really play in the final term, but they competed. And they tried their heart out for 3 quarters, which is the spirit that you like to see. Now, obviously, if they can add that final quarter to their game, they probably would have won this game, I feel. I feel like they would have won if they had played a really good last quarter and banged on a few more goals. 12-3, it's a good thing. This team doesn't really look like a bottom team anymore after the way they played today. And North Melbourne can deliver it in little spurts where they can be good, but could this be the start of something truly amazing for this club? We'll just have to wait and see. Dyson with 33 disposals, 5 goals for Zeeble. He's a fantastic player. And the real leader stepping up, Simpkin, Zeeble, 122 fantasy for Stevenson. And then for the Swans, Heaney, 11 tackles. Heaney is a really good player for the Swans. We have a look at fantasy, 111 for Heaney, 110 for Simpkin, 107 for McInerney, 106 for Mills, and 103 for McDonald. 94 for Horne-Francis, he was really getting in there, and 95 for Hall. Horne-Francis, he had a really good game as well. And then only 2 goals for Heaney, McLean, Franklin, Bell, and Goldie. So Goldie getting in there with the 2 goals. 30 touches for McInerney, 28 for Mills, 27 for McDonald, 25 for Hall. If we have a look at tackles, 8 for Stevenson and Marnie, so they're getting in there doing the job as well. Hitouts, 27 for Laddams, 23 for Tristan Zeri. So he's actually really making his name as the North Melbourne ruck right now. 13 for Goldie, and then 6 for Reid, and that is it for the hitouts. So it was a really interesting contest, though, this one. It was back and forth. This game actually finished not too long ago anyway. But It was an exciting contest. Both teams were relatively even as well. Disposal efficiency inside 50. Free kicks was more on North Melbourne's terms. Clearances were Sydney, except hit-outs was North Melbourne. But it was really interesting for North Melbourne to come out and deliver that. They actually spent more time in front than the Swans, and this is on the SCG, a team where the Swans have been so dominant here in the past. They beat Geelong by 30 points. So to really come up and do this, North Melbourne, and get a good score on the board and compete is something that's really and well and truly fantastically amazing. So congratulations, North Melbourne. It was a really good game for them. The Swans, though, they were just way too good, and the Swans, they have multiple avenues to go. They've got Heaney, they've got Parker, they've got Franklin. When Papley's back, they've got Papley. And they've got, like, McInerney. The mids can go and do it as well. So it is fantastic. But yeah, Zeeble, he was really good with the 5 goals. But really exciting contest, and the Swans just a better team. And fair enough, they are primed to make the 8 again. So you shouldn't be losing to teams like North Melbourne. But North Melbourne, a really good effort. We'll go and have a look at the ladder. So as I speak right now, Collingwood are down by 2 to West Coast at half time, 42-44. This will be in tomorrow's match review. So here is a ladder as it stands. Of course, no Collingwood West Coast involved in this video. Collingwood West Coast will be tomorrow. Collingwood West Coast, I've not turned on live ladder, so you cannot see where these teams will sit if it's a West Coast win. I will switch that on afterwards though. But you got Melbourne, the only team, the 4-0 club. Tomorrow, Carlton do have the chance to join them if they beat Gold Coast. And then the Cats and the Lions, they are 3-1. The Swans, they're 3-1. The Hawks, they sit in 6th, 7 308. Collingwood, 9 St Kilda, 10 Gold Coast, 11 Richmond, 12 Western Bulldogs, 13 GWS, 14 North, 14 Adelaide, 15 North, that is a percentage booster for the Kangaroos, 16 Power, 17 West Coast, 18 Essendon. So Essendon, West Coast still looking for wins, so are the Power. The Power, they're going to have to wait till round 5 till they play Carlton. If we have a look at the live ladder, if Collingwood were to lose, that means West Coast would get their first win of the year, which would be interesting. So have to wait and see how that game goes. But thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. But before we do, a little look ahead to what the rest of the round has in store for us. So Richmond Dogs, Freo GWS, and then tomorrow Essendon and Adelaide, Hawthorn St Kilda. That one will be a good game, that one. And Gold Coast Carlton. Now, one more thing. I'm extremely happy for how our channel is going. We are at 151 subscribers. We've just ticked past 150. If you haven't entered 150 subscribers special entry video, make sure to go ahead and do so right now. But thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so then you guys will never miss another video on the channel. Thank you guys all so much for watching. So bye everyone. Flaming Footy out.